Hello, hello, everybody. How are we doing this morning? It is Tuesday. It is April 11th. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful spring day here. I hope that is the same for you. My name is Jason Krutzky. It is a great pleasure to be with you all this morning for another pre-market show where we just hang out and talk shop. No agenda here. I'm just kicking it, checking out the charts. Of course, the talk of the town yesterday, today is crypto, Bitcoin, finally taking out that $29,000 area that it's been really kind of trapped at for some time. And why has it been trapped there? Well, there are many theories, and I have one as well. And my theory is this yearly open. If you've been on the show before, you probably know that I've mentioned this. This yearly open was a big spot. As you could see, this is our 2021 yearly open. We ran to the highs, and then last year we lost that 2021 yearly open. We failed below it, and we were testing it again. And we were stuck there. If we go down to the daily, we could see it was pretty darn clean, pretty darn perfect, where we were trapped right at that yearly open. Well, we have gained it now. So this is a really important piece of the puzzle that we've essentially just found, right? This is a really important change of tone, I guess, for Bitcoin. I kind of didn't anticipate that this level was going to that price was going to be able to get above it, and they managed to get above it. So now we have to watch and see what they do here. But this is a pretty big deal for all the Bitcoiners out there. Congratulations to anybody who's been long Bitcoin, especially through this. This was probably a little bit stressful as price consolidated sideways. And I guess this was accumulation. I really thought that this was distribution. I thought that they were going to take it lower, and they just jammed it right through there and took it a little bit higher. So congratulations to the Bitcoin bulls. Obviously, all crypto is kind of following the same path. If you look at Solana, this has been kind of the one that's been beaten down and stuck a little bit. Now, it's not nearly where relative to Bitcoin, it is not made nearly the same quality of move, but I mean, 10%, what, in a day? Something like that. In 2 days, 10% move from 20 to 22 bucks. So one that I'm definitely keeping my eye on. Solana here. Ethereum, of course. The other big mover, almost taking out that $2,000 spot. So big eyes there coming into those previous, August 2022 highs. So we'll see if they're able to gain those highs. It's a big spot. One thing that I like to do, of course, as you guys always know, anchoring a VWAP from a major high, in this case, the all-time high here on Ethereum. And our anchored VWAP puts us at about 2135. If price does continue higher, I would anticipate a little bit of profit taking somewhere around that spot. So keep your eye on it if you're long on Ethereum. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin here. And we're going to do the same thing. Going to measure an anchored VWAP from those all-time highs. And that gets us to a much closer spot, 31,200 or so. So that's going to be interesting. That also puts us right in line with those previous highs from, June of last year. These guys over here. So what are they going to do when they get to this spot? I don't really know. Are they going to try and take out these highs? You have to assume that you've got a bunch of shorts with stops up here above these highs. So maybe they run this anchored VWAP, try and take out some of those stops before this thing catches a little bit of a breather. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating over here. What are y'all's thoughts? There are a handful of you guys here. Good morning to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well today. Talk to me. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Let me know what's going on with you. I'm going to pull up, while I wait to hear from you guys, I'm going to pull up seasonality. I want to see kind of what seasonality on Bitcoin looks like. Looks like April, 64% win rate since 2012, since its inception. 64% win rate. So what this essentially means, good morning, Tlaloc. I'm not sure how to say your name. Quintero. Good morning from San Diego. Aaron J, what's up? Good morning, NYC. Are you going to NFT NYC, Aaron? I got some friends that are going to that. Eric Theory from Thailand, what's up? Nice, I nailed it. That doesn't happen very often. Well, good morning, you guys. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. What are you guys trading this morning? Jordan, what's up, Jordan? From Cambridge, England, what up? Yeah, so I've got the Bitcoin seasonality chart here, and we're just looking at the win rate. And so when we say win rate, what we essentially mean is green candles. Did the month close green? Did it close red? If it closes green, that's a check in the plus column. That's a check in the green bar column. If it closes red, that's a check in the red column. And so 64% of the time in April, we get a green candle close. And so far, we are well on our way to getting there. It looks like May and June are both 50% chance win rates. Then that kind of jumps in July, and then you have the lull, the end of summer lull in August and September. 40% win rate in August, 20% win rate in September. So that's kind of interesting. We'll have to keep a close eye. Of course, everybody's going to be keeping a close eye on what crypto's doing here in the months to come. Now, we do have CPI tomorrow. CPI is going to be announced at, I believe, at 8:30 Eastern time. I'm going to be live here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to hang out with you guys, watch the reaction to the CPI numbers. Now, I was kind of doing a little bit of research into what the expectation is on CPI. And outside of just the expectation, I wanted to share this with you because this to me was more interesting, or more, it kind of piqued my interest a little bit more than just the sheer numbers. And this is what I was thinking was kind of interesting. The Fed won't meet again to set interest rates until May 3rd. So the March inflation numbers that we're getting back tomorrow won't be decisive in informing its view. So for anybody who is out there maybe thinking that this particular CPI might have a big effect on markets, you almost have to wonder if this is true. Now, this is according to Forbes. You take or leave their opinion, but it's kind of an interesting opinion to consider. So what do you guys... Brian, what's up, man? Brian Pike, you made it? No pesky work meetings. What's up, man? That's awesome. Nice to have a nice, calm, quiet morning. What are you guys trading today? What do you guys got your eye on? Are you bullish here? Are you bearish here? I know that futures are starting to, well, they started to sell off a couple of hours ago, right? I haven't taken a look to see where things are at, like right or in like an hour. But yeah, we had a pretty sharp sell-off. I'm not sure exactly what the story was with this particular sell-off. Could have been just something kind of technical. Looks like they, at least on NQ, no, they didn't quite make it to the broadening range, but they did take out the previous highs. Looks like they swiped the previous highs and immediately turned it around, hunting a little bit of liquidity up here, hunting stops, and then turning it and taking it a little bit lower. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they take the markets today, knowing that CPI is tomorrow. Your NEO position. What's going on with NEO? I haven't taken a look at NEO in a while. It's interesting. This 15-minute chart looks like a very stereotypical. There's a chart. I can't think of the name of the chart, but like a chart that shows all of the progression of emotion, and this looks like that chart, where you have like euphoria up here, and then they go and they swipe these lows. So just like absolute max pain. But this is the 15-minute. That's funny. Let's take a look at the daily. Remove this guy. So actually, let's take a look at the monthly. So it's coming back into kind of those previous highs before it really made its run. Seems important, right? That $10 spot. This one being not like a super new name, but relatively new. You're talking about 5 years, 4.5 years of price data. Never a bad idea to understand where your point of control and your VWAP is from the IPO. So I've got it anchored here essentially to the first day, and You see your VWAP up at 22 bucks. Your point of control down here at $3.12. Let's zoom in a little bit. Oh, so they had a gap. There's a nice weekly gap here too, huh? That they filled. I guess this was back in, what, October last year. What's up, Kay? Good morning. How are you? Hope you're well. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, you know, depending on, Brian, well, hold on. Let's see what you're saying here. Adding a bunch of new models and battery as a service. What does that mean? Battery as a service. I've never heard that before. Yeah, this one's kind of tricky because, I mean, you know, frankly, the chart does not look great. Like, the chart looks almost like a weed ticker to me. Oh, swap charge battery. Interesting. So you essentially like run the car until the battery dies, you give it back to them and they give you a new one? Is that the idea? Tlalok. SPX CH over CH on hourly. What does CHOCH mean? Big for commercial trucks. Huh. So is it like a single charge type of battery, or can they charge it on their own? Learn something new every day. Change of character. How do you define change of character? Is it do you use technical indicators to define that? Because change of characters are kind of like they're difficult. They can be difficult to spot. BOS. Man, what is BOS? What does BOS stand for? It's early for me. You have to give me a little bit of credit here. It's pretty early for me. So I'm still waking up. Break of structure. All right, let's talk about this break of structure. I'm going to use ZS. Is that okay? Essentially the same thing. And you said it was on hourly. So what I'm kind of thinking is the fact you're calling the break of structure. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not what do you call it? Oh man. This is a concept from, what's the guy's name? I can't think of the guy's name. But I'm thinking that what you're seeing as a break of structure is the fact that we took this low. Is that right? Like we should have held here to keep structure. ICT, yes, Aaron, thank you. Again, it's early. But yes, your structure break is right here. Is that right? Yeah, see? I know a little bit about a lot. So where, you know, this gets down into kind of, I trade with some relatively similar price action concepts. For me, if you lose this, then you're kind of looking up in here somewhere. You're looking at those previous highs that took you to where you took you down to what you just lost. Looking for some of this to come in and act as resistance. Is that where your head is at? Or do you look all the way back to the highs? Because I know you could kind of look to the candle that brought the high kind of in here. I mean, it's a really small area. You're talking about 2.5 points between here and there. So, all right, Brian, normal e-vehicle battery, charging garage, or swap out a charge station. More like filling gas tank for convenience. For long haul trucking, truck ain't moving, not making money. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so the battery works the same. They can charge it if they want to. It's not like a single use battery. But the idea is that they can swap the battery. Well, so how do they determine when it's time to swap a battery out? Or are you saying like truck pulls into the station, it's got a dead battery, it pulls the battery out, and instead of charging it, it pulls the battery out, they give the truck a fresh one, and then they're back on their way. Is that the idea there? Low charge level, pull and swap. Got it. Got it. Interesting. Do you think that's going to be the future of all e-vehicles? Where you almost like don't even own your battery, you like rent, you like pay a subscription service or something? Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of gas stations, you just have battery stations and people can grab the battery they need and be on their way. It's like the water coolers at work. Hepcat. What's up, Hepcat? What are you talking about, Hepcat? What should be? What's a huge part of the e-vehicle cost? The battery itself or charging the battery? You're talking about the battery itself, right? The EV battery swap. Gotcha. Yeah, admittedly, I'm pretty not versed on electric vehicles. There's a lot of them around where I live. Lots of Teslas around here. But me, I just like my bike. I just cruise on my bike. So I'm curious, I want to go back to this break of structure idea. Do I have it right with what I'm kind of looking for with a break of structure? You've got a little fair value gap up in here. You had a little fair value gap that just filled, right? They kind of filled this one just now. But I struggle with price action concepts, you know, because different time frames look different ways. But my gut is kind of, this is where you'd be looking, if you have a break of structure, you'd be looking to short up in here. I'm pretty sure that's what y'all are going to tell me. And then you'd have your stop. You'd have your stop on a new high. And then you'd be looking for a new low, right? So then you just got to figure out if that risk reward is right. You can use our handy dandy little risk reward calculator. We'll throw the profit target down here and put a stop level up here. See, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because although you have that break of structure, your risk reward isn't quite as good as you want it. You really want it to be. It looks like it's like a 2-to-1. Ooh, let's look at AZN. That's AstraZeneca. You know, we were talking last week on Twitter Spaces. I was talking to my good friend, Mr. JC Peretz from All Star Charts. He was on, we had a good group of folks on. Anyway, he was talking about healthcare, and I'm almost certain over at All Star Charts, they really like AstraZeneca. Yeah, wow. Huh, like new all-time highs in the past couple of sessions. I'm gonna go to the monthly here. Yeah, hard to argue with this. What does seasonality look like? Check this out. Let's go back as far as we can. Going back to 1999, best month of the year, seasonality-wise, strongest month of the year is April. Not a huge surprise to see that. See if the insiders are doing anything on this one. No data. Bummer. Let's check out options. Whenever I'm looking at a ticker that I just do not know at all, I don't spend any time looking at AstraZeneca. Then I'm going to be pulling up peripheral charts and just kind of like seeing what's going on. Looks like there's a pretty big mass of calls in and around that $72.50 level. Expiring June 2023. So positioning looks to be leaning quite more bullish. $40 calls. These are got to be deep in the money, right? Yeah, this thing's trading 72. So deep in the money calls for this month. Relatively big size premium too, $1 million. Zim, the shipper. You know, now Zim was all the rage, was all the talk. What, in 2020, early 2022, maybe late 2021? I was at a trading conference some time ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was either the beginning of 2022 or it was towards the end of 2021. I'm kind of thinking it was towards the end of 2021, but it might have been 2022. Anyway, sitting with Christian Fromhertz and somebody else was there. They were both talking about Zim. Yeah, so I'd be kind of keeping an eye just kind of on all these previous highs as a potential target. It could be really tough to determine targets when you get up into the all-time high area. You can measure fibs from previous high to low. It's another decent way to do it. And do this. Oh, I need to turn them on, don't I? There we go. Unit shipping prices tanked, but they have a big war chest. Yeah, I mean, it definitely came off, didn't it? I know that it had given back a lot of what it had gained. So it looks like I had a little line drawn here at some point, just on those previous lows. I mean, this is kind of like a make or break spot, right? Really kind of needs to hold here, doesn't it? Let me go to the highs. Just kind of see what's going on there. Point of control, obviously pretty important. You can kind of see the support resistance flip here in it too. You know, tried to find support here, failed, and then immediately found resistance there. We haven't talked about Tesla. We can talk about it though. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at Zim, the Zim chart. If you want to know what I'm looking at, ticker symbol right up here, top left. Yeah, I mean, really need this low to hold. I mean, I figure they're so close. Like, why not come down and just swipe the lows, right? You know, you got a ton of stops down here. Why not come down and just take all those out? Maybe give a little bounce. You know, they're trying to kind of bounce it here. But you got to assume that they're going to take these stops. There's just so many of them. There's got to be so many of them here. So I'd be keeping a close eye on that. But definitely a tricky looking one. Not much price memory below either. So if you end up losing this low. And what they do and how they do it to me is important. Like, I would almost prefer them to just immediately come down and take the stops, because then I feel like then you got more of a chance for a bounce. If they bounce it in front of those stops, then when the time comes for them to actually take them, they may not come back. They may just keep going lower. Good luck on that one, Brian. I hope it goes your way. Let's look at Tesla. Hepcat wants to look at Tesla. Tesla had an interesting spot. So kind of the market structure break that we were talking about. To me, in the way that I trade, let me turn this off real quick. This was a market structure break. When we gained this previous high, right, up here. So then I kind of assumed that they would come back and test where we came from. What brought us to this high, which is here, this low. And they did. They came back right into it perfectly, tested it, this purple line. And so now we're just bouncing essentially at that pivot. They did not make a new high, right? They didn't make a new high relative to these. Would have been better if they had made a new high. But they're coming back into this low. They're coming back into this low and the anchored VWAP from the lows. From the, what, January lows. So to me, pretty decent risk off level, right? Like if you're going to go long here at this 174, well, I guess kind of a little late. Where are they trading right now? 186. Yeah, yesterday, monster pullback spot. Really, really clean. If you go down to the daily, you see it even better. So they might just be kind of flagging it out here. See what they do. If they end up breaking higher or lower. We could throw up the chart pattern and see if it automatically finds it for me. It may not. It may not be enough touches. Yeah, didn't find it. Yeah, but Tesla looking pretty constructive, I would say. Now, Slaylock, are you asking me what I'm looking at personally? Or are you asking me what I was just looking at with Zim? So I kind of spend most of my time looking at futures. I had an eye on, I was in some random Twitter space the other day and I heard somebody talking about EOS. And then what they were saying about it kind of made me want to put it on my radar. I think it had some news this morning or something. No, I don't know exactly what happened, but sold off pretty hard this morning. But it had a really big day yesterday. 250 to 320. Huge move. I don't generally trade these little penny type plays though. I kind of mostly just stay in futures. But let me add my little watch list here and see what's on it. That might be of interest. Yeah, so of course all of the cryptos are on it. See what's going on with FCX here. This is one that I was kind of keeping an eye on. A really clean, to me, like a really clean head and shoulders setup. Specifically because of that break in structure. So maybe you guys can confirm this for me. My break in structure friends. To me, this was a break in structure. Essentially your low that brought you up to the high, they failed below it and they held below it pretty proper for a period of time. This is weekly chart. So when they run it back up, they run it back to test where we came from, which was up here, and they failed that. And then on a more meta level, you have another kind of break-in structure. If this is your low to high, right? We broke structure here. Tell me if I got this right. Essentially broke structure here. You'd have to go to down to a smaller time frame probably to see it better. Would you call this a break-in structure? You had a couple of closes below the level. You might even call this the break-in structure. I'm not sure. Because I guess technically, you kind of have this, right? You kind of have this nice uptrend. They broke it. They came back. They tested it and went lower. But I'm curious. I'm curious what the break-in structure folks would say about that. So FDX. What's up with FDX? I'm not super familiar with Dow cell theory. Maybe you can explain it to us a little bit? Can you give us like the Cliff's Notes? And the market is open. Thank you for the alert. Market is open. We're off to the races here. So the only thing with FDX, I mean, I'm looking at a monthly here. And the first thing I notice is just an upward trend. I mean, pretty basic, but you got your high, you got a higher high, you got a higher high. And what did we do? We held this low. And not only did we hold it, but like to the penny. Pretty clean. All right, Slalok. Have a good rest of your day, man. Trade them well out there. So my school of trading, this would be called a trend start. This is where essentially the uptrend started. And since we made the new high, you come back, you test, you hold trend start. Moved into CRT, bought the trough. What's CRT? Cross Timbers Royalty Trust. What's the story here? Going to the weekly. A nice little bounce off that 12 spot a couple weeks back. What's the daily look like? I don't know too much about this one, my friend. But looks like a big break in structure to me, doesn't it? You lost the low that brought you up. I'm going to pop over to the indices here, see what's going on. Let me remove all these guys. Big gap up to start the day, huh? Came back, filled the gap. I mean, really, man, SPY has not gone anywhere in 6 sessions, has it? For all intents and purposes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This thing has just been chilling. I guess we had the breakout 6 days ago. But this thing has just been sideways. Tomorrow, maybe. Tomorrow. CPI data. The CPI data, is that the thing? You have a ton of resistance up here from those previous highs. Go to the Qs. I mean, pretty much same look. Hasn't gone anywhere in days. Go to IWM. What are you guys thinking? Where are your heads at for today? You think today is going to be kind of maybe a bit of a nothing burger type of day while we await the CPI results tomorrow morning? Bitcoin, 3,200. Dang. Just making new high after new high. Super, super strong. Incredible. What's going on over at Apple? You know, we have launched some new functionality to the platform. I don't know if anybody has noticed it yet. Kay, you say we're going to rally today? What are you trading today, Kay? Also, does anybody have any TrendSpider questions? Any platform related things that you guys are curious about? Maybe you're struggling with, I don't know, knowing how to use a tool or building a strategy or anything like that. We did just launch strategy sharing, which is pretty cool. So now I can take a strategy that, you know, that I like and that I want to share with you guys, and I can share it. I'll show you guys how. Netflix running and Tesla calls. Nice, Kay. Let's go. So for example, this FDX in the long term. All right. Let's see here. But yeah, so with sharing strategies, it's going to work the exact same way as sharing scans, sharing watch lists. Up here in the top right corner of your strategy, if you click on the three dots, you do have to, actually, this is not my strategy. I'm subscribed to it. So if I take this strategy, I'm just running it real quick. The reason why I chose this one is because it works darn good on Apple here. This 15-minute RVOL reversal. This is what's so cool about the strategy tester is strategies don't have to be wildly intricate. They don't have to be anything crazy to be successful, and not just successful, but like really successful. This is a 15-minute RVOL reversal strategy on Apple. I mean, look at this. This is so simple. This is saying RVOL is greater than 3. For anybody who is not familiar with RVOL, it stands for relative volume, and it's just comparing the volume on the current 15-minute candle relative to the average volume over a period of candles. So in the parentheses here, it says 20 SMA. So this is just saying that it's looking at the average volume calculation on a 20 period SMA. So 20, the last 20 candles of volume, it's taking all of that volume, adding it, dividing it by 20 and giving you an average. So let's pretend that average on the 15-minute candle is 100,000 shares. I don't know what it is, but let's just pretend that it is. We're defining that RVOL is greater than a constant value of 3. So we're saying that there's 3x average volume on a 15-minute candle. So if average volume is 100, well, there's 300,000 on this particular 15-minute candle. The only other thing we've defined here is that price is closed less than the 8 EMA. And the 8 EMA, for those of you who don't utilize moving averages, 8 EMA is just a very short-term moving average that you can use for trend direction, like short-term trend direction. Price is above it, that tells you something. If price is below it, it tells you something. If it's trending up, it tells you something. If it's trending down, it tells you something, right? So we're not even defining that. We're just defining that price is closed below it and on heavy volume. So we're suggesting that there might be a bottom, a short-term 15-minute time frame bottom in on our entry. On our exit side, We're just using a stop loss, a take profit, and a trail stop. So your stop loss is 1.5%, your trail stop is 2%, your take profit is 5%. So your take profit is like 3 to 1 your stop loss. And those values are derived from utilizing the Price Behavior Explorer to kind of see like where it makes sense to have a stop loss, where it makes sense to have a take profit. How does price tend to react when it's in a position? So you can derive that understanding from the Price Behavior Explorer. And actually, while I'm here, let me go grab a video for you guys real quick, because there's a really good video. If anybody out there is wanting to utilize the strat tester but is not quite sure best practice, we just had our founder Dan and our head dev Russ just did a kind of a webinar. I want to grab a link to the video, because if you guys are interested in watching it, I want y'all to be able to do that. And it's unlisted. We're just sharing the link with folks that ask for it. So let me give you guys this link. Here you go. There's a link to, this is all about the strategy tester. It's a deep dive on how to utilize the Price Behavior Explorer to help you kind of refine your entry, or your exits rather. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna get too into it here on the show today, but yeah, the whole point I'm trying to kind of get at is just simplicity is sometimes profound. And in this case, very clearly, 15-minute strategy with very simple entry and exit parameters. This thing beats buy and hold over the last, past year. 78% return, 79% return versus a 6% return on the asset over the same period of time. Pretty crazy. Win rate's really pretty good, 48% win rate. Your average win is almost 3%. Your risk to reward is 2.5. Pretty darn good. So I want to share this with you guys. If you are a TrendSpider user, you could subscribe to this now. And what you could do, here you go. Load this in. Subscribe to this and load this into your platform. I mean, it could be as simple as just going through tickers that you like, that you like to trade. You might find something that works really, really well with this very, very simple strategy. Here's one. What's this? Array. Array beats buy and hold by about 20%. No-go highlighting too. Your average win is 3%. Risk to reward not quite as good here, 1.42. What's so cool is you can just jam through names, it's like it takes no time. Click on a name in your watch list, it runs the test, you get back results pretty darn fast, and you can make very quick decisions. We spend all this time hunting for alpha, hunting for ways to beat the markets, and strategy tester is one of if not the best ways to kind of determine that. Instead of putting money into a trade that you're not confident about, spend some time, do a little back testing, and see how names perform on these different strategies. Looks like Ethereum over the last year, this strategy beats buy and hold on Ethereum to the tune of about 6%. Average win is about 2.29. Risk to reward is almost 2. See how it does on the Qs. Yeah, you're welcome, Kay. Look at this on the Qs. 50% gain versus a negative 0.46% gain over the same period of time. 41% win rate, but your average win, 2.78. Risk to rewards, almost 2.5. I mean, it's pretty impressive, truly. And the fact that I can just share these with you very easily is super cool. It's a super helpful little feature. And again, it's not going to work on everything. What am I on right now? AMD clearly doesn't work very well on AMD. Looks like it did just take an entry on. Well, it took an entry based off of the first candle of the day. Yeah, so any strategy you guys come up with, or any strategy that really anybody comes up with that you want to share, you could do that now. Now, what I would do if I were y'all, if you do load up this strategy on your end, go ahead and make a copy of it. And the reason for that is just so that if I ever happen to clear out my side, I get rid of something that you're subscribed to, it'll make it go away for you. So when you subscribe, it's going to say something like this. The strategy is read only. You can play with it, but you need to make your own copy to save your changes. So make your own copy so that you can keep it, hold on to it. So it looks like, even though we did get that gap up on SPY, looks like markets are kind of selling off a little bit, huh? So we got about 15 minutes or so left. I want to make sure that we get to any questions that any of you guys might have. Any thoughts, any comments, any requests? I'm here for you. I'm here to help answer questions and be your voice. So y'all hit me with anything you got. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here popping through charts, watching just like you guys are, I suppose. What's IWM doing? IWM quite strong relative to the other two. Tags on the options data flow. Great question. And just to confirm, you're referring to sweep bearish, trade bullish, right? So this is a function of how close to the bid or the ask the options were traded. So let me show you just to make sure. So we get this data from Benzinga. And I just want to make sure that we get the right, that I answer this clearly for you. But it's based on how close to the bid or the ask something was purchased. If something was purchased really close to the ask, then that's going to appear to be more more bullish, right? Because the person that was doing the buying of the options were willing to pay what the seller was asking, right? So they were coming up to the seller's price. If they were purchased closer to the bid, then that's more bearish. That's pretty much how they determine it. And I had the, you know what? I know where it is, because somebody else asked this question recently too. Let me look in my thing here. Here we go. So here's a link that should help. Here's a link, JJ. And in this link, Let me see. Here we go. Understanding sentiment. Options are bullish when a call is purchased at or near the ask price or a put is sold at or near the bid. Options are bearish when a call is sold at or near the bid price or a put is bought at or near the ask price. So that's how they determine those labels. UNG and Boyle. Let's look at UNG first. Ooh, that is an ugly chart. Let me go bigger time frame. That's pretty ugly. I mean, they've taken the December 2020 lows, trading well below them. And there's nothing down here. There's no volume support of any kind down here. I don't know. This is not an optimal chart for me personally. This is not the type of chart that I want to trade. Now, if we go to the futures, I don't know, that 164 spot. That 164 spot from those previous lows. Really just kind of down in here. Maybe we catch a bounce somewhere down in there. Stygian? How do you pronounce that word? Stygian abyss? Stygian? Stygian. Seems like Stygian. Makes more sense than Stygian. Stygian? Stygian abyss. What on earth is a Stygian abyss? The Stygian abyss. It's a fantasy game. Is this it? Is this what you're referring to, Brian? The first is a first-person role-playing video game developed by Blue Sky in '92. Stygian Abyss. All right. It is kind of an abyss. Now there is like a little pivot here. September 2020. 2020. Oh, it is a classical term? Oh. So that's where they got the name from. I've never heard of a Stygian Abyss before. Maybe they try and hold this little pivot. They're trying to anyway, but I don't know. I'd be looking down here, 160. Personally, what is, I mean, we're coming into summer. So that's something to consider. If you look back to 1990, obviously seasonal weakness in the summer, not a huge surprise to see that. It's natural gas after all. Yeah, you know, seasonality is just one way. It's just an alternative data point that we can use to kind of glean some sort of understanding. Looks like March, April, generally relatively strong. Since 1990, so we're looking back, what, 30, almost 40, 20, 33 years? Simple math. But coming into the summer months, I don't know. I wouldn't be pining at the bit to get into this. I mean, it did make new highs. So like maybe it comes back into this 160 spot. Maybe it finds a way. Once it gets there, you know, I don't know. Hard to know exactly what it's going to do, but I don't know. Natural gas coming in the summer. Seems like there are better plays out there. And Boyle is what? Boyle's levered, isn't it? Or maybe it's not. Maybe Boyle's not levered. I don't know. It doesn't say 2x, but I kind of thought it was. NG, Joe Genero, yeah. NG's a Widowmaker, unless you catch it at the right time. It's one of those types of things that, like, when the runs happen, you want to be in them. But Joe Genevo, I have to say, your name flows off the tongue like a fine wine, man. What a name. Genero, not Genevo. RVYL. Whew. Is this also natural gas? Because it looks like it. It's trying to hold previous lows. Joseph Pierre Genero. What a name, man. It sounds very dignified. RVYL. This is a crypto clearinghouse. Yeah, I don't know. I stay away. I try to stay away from charts that look like this. Really nice head and shoulders, though. Head and shoulders top, super clean. Broke the lows, came back, tested. Perfect. Man, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful setup. Crypto clearinghouse back end. Interesting. Yeah, I never even heard of this company. Was Greenbox. Never heard of that either. I'm out of the loop here on the crypto clearinghouses. Y'all, we have just a few minutes left. I want to give you guys a rundown of what's going on this week. Tomorrow on Twitter at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be doing a CPI roundtable discussion. And this does not mean that we're only going to be talking about CPI. We're going to be talking about the market. But obviously CPI is going to be the big data point tomorrow, so we're going to be talking about it. It's going to be me, OG Trades, if you guys know him. We've got Christian Fromhertz on the show tomorrow. Who else do we have? We have Anne-Marie Band, if you guys know her. We've got Michael Naus. We've got Caleb Franzen. And maybe even some others. I'm not sure. I've got invites out to a handful of other folks. Hopefully we'll have a really good group of folks joining us tomorrow for our CPI roundtable discussion. That's on Twitter Spaces, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're around, you're looking for some thoughts on what's going on out there in the markets, what happened with CPI, please tune in and join us. I'm going to be live tomorrow right here again at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. So first I'll be here watching the market's reaction to CPI. And then I'm going to jump over to Twitter Spaces and talk to some friends and see what their thoughts are. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be live again right here. Same time, same place, 9 a.m. Eastern Time for the pre-market pulse. Talking shop with you guys, answering any questions that you have. Doing this exact same thing. I love these shows. They're super low key. I just get to hang out and talk shop. Back to the day job. Brian, have a great rest of your day, man. Thanks for hanging out. So, with that, you guys, I too, like Brian here, I'm going to get back to my day job. I'm going to tune out, tune off, sign off. Thank you so much for joining me today. Download that strategy that I hooked you up with. It's a really good one. If nothing else, put it to use. Start trading Apple with it because it works darn good on Apple on the 15-minute time frame over the last year. Works awesome. Have a great rest of your trading day. Holler if you need me. Give me a follow at Krutzky Trades on Twitter. Give me a like and subscribe here on YouTube. I should have asked for that when there were more of y'all here. But please hook me up with a like, hook me up with a subscribe. All of those things help me at the end of the day. Let me keep doing these. So again, thank you guys for joining me today. And hopefully I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching the market reaction. Those are always fun shows. Yeah. So take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, right here. Same place, slightly different time. Have a good day.